Hi there. Is buying land a good or bad investment? Have you ever bought land before? If you have, how was the experience like? Did you like it? Did you regret purchasing that particular piece of land which you purchased? Is what I'm going to be discussing in this video, whether buying land is a good or bad investment. And of course, for reference, I'm going to be referencing the Kenyan real estate sector when it comes to purchasing land. Mind you, I'm not talking about purchasing housing units or even purchasing apartments, even though the applicability of all this analysis is actually also applicable to all those different assets. But specific to land, is purchasing land a good or bad decision? Is what I'm going to be looking at in details. And by the way, I'm going to be looking at two sides of the same coin. Scenarios in which purchasing land is going to be a good decision, and also scenarios in which purchasing land can actually be a bad decision. You are all much welcomed to the Money Daily YouTube channel. I'm yours, Afagza Sifuna. And by the way, if you're new here, please consider subscribing so that you can stay updated each and every day on matters finance and how to increase your money. Having said that, someone purchasing land is actually one of the best feelings ever. It's also the kind of feeling someone gets when they purchase assets out there, more so in case it is their first time. Think about someone buying a car for the first time in their life. Think about someone purchasing a house for the first time, right? Someone out there, for example, setting up a business for the first time and so forth. It is a fulfilling and awesome feeling. Unfortunately, some people out there can be caught up in the euphoria of preparation to purchase a piece of land, going ahead to purchase it without really thinking a lot about the nitty-gritties. And I'm saying so because there are those instances out there where purchasing a piece of land can actually be good. And also, we have other instances out there where purchasing a piece of land can actually be a bad decision. To give you an example on scenario one, in case someone purchases a piece of land and then the price of that particular piece of land, for example, increases twofold within a few years, automatically that is a good decision someone made. Or even better yet, in case someone purchases a piece of land and then they also have money to develop a particular piece of land, for example, by setting up rental units, whether houses, whether apartments and so forth, or even commercial stalls, and then they start getting paid rental income a few months after purchasing that particular piece of land, most likely that is a good investment because it is adding to their income kitty. In essence, it is assisting them improve or increase their income streams, which is actually a very, very good investment decision. On the contrary, buying land can also be a bad investment decision. For example, in case someone takes all their savings, okay? Even they go to an extent of, for example, getting leverage, in essence, borrowing from banks or whichever other lenders of money out there to purchase a piece of land which is not ready to be used immediately. For example, taking an example of Kenya, whereby we've seen different companies, different schemes of people selling pieces of lands out there. In case, for example, someone is based in Nairobi and then they take their entire savings, right? They go ahead to borrow money from banks or whichever other sources out there. And then, for example, they go somewhere in Kilifi County, interior, to purchase a huge tract of land, which actually they themselves can't develop that piece of land because they're constrained of resources. That piece of land is very, very far from any amenities, and it's way too interior for it to develop even in the next 5-10 years or so. Chances are, yes, they have done an investment, but it is not the most sound of investments. And I'm saying so because these people could alternatively have used that money to purchase a more prime piece of land, or better yet, to look at other opportunities out there beyond purchasing a piece of land, right? That is a scenario in which purchasing a piece of land could be a bad investment. Drop a comment down below. Have you ever in your life purchased a bad piece of land? In that you made an investment in a piece of land which is actually a bad investment. Have you ever done that in your life? Do you regret doing that? Share with me your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let's continue engaging there and also sharing opinions. More so, in case you are based in Kenya, you are based in Africa. Have you ever made a decision to purchase a piece of land which you regretted? And also on the positive side, have you ever purchased a piece of land which actually you actually clapped for yourself because you made a very wise investment decision? How was it like? How was it a wise decision? Share with us in the comment section down below. So having discussed that, I want to share with you guys 5 key considerations you need to be on the lookout for when you're thinking about purchasing a piece of land, more so in Kenya. And by the way, I'm not talking about the legal process of you buying that piece of land. I won't delve into that at this particular point in time. I'm just talking about the key considerations you need to be keen on so that you can at least work towards ensuring a piece of land you intend to purchase is going to be a good investment. So, when you are looking to purchase a piece of land, the very first consideration you need to have in mind is location. Location is a very, very important thing to consider. And by the way, this is also applicable to other assets out there beyond a piece of land. For example, purchasing houses or even an apartment unit, you setting up a business and so forth. It is very important for you to consider location when it comes to purchasing a piece of land. And I'm saying so because chances are you are purchasing a piece of land because you have something in mind. For example, you may be thinking about setting up commercial units whereby people can be, for example, doing business from those units, okay? You might be thinking about setting up rental units, right? You might be thinking about maybe setting up your own house or your own home and so forth. So ensure you be on the lookout for the good location. And when I'm talking about location, I'm talking about location in its entirety and also location in the interest of other things which are at the periphery of location, right? Things like, for example, security of an area, right? No one out there want to purchase a property in an area which is crime infested, okay? Secondly, things like, for example, amenities. For example, proximity to schools, proximity to key amenities like, for example, electricity, water, in case you're a religious person, proximity to churches and so forth. You need to be keen on location for you to decide whether to purchase a piece of land or not. And then related to location too, the second thing you need to be keen on is actually restrictions on any piece of land. And by the way, when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about zoning restrictions and any setback, which may be pegged on any particular piece of land. What do I mean? Guys, out here, more so in urban centers, we have zoning of different pieces of land. For example, a given piece or section of a town could be set out, for example, to be used for commercial purposes, okay? To be used, for example, for residential purposes and so forth. And even beyond that, different areas have different restrictions with regards to, based on the use of property. For example, there's commercial, residential, or so forth. Also, they have setbacks. In that, for example, you could find a condition saying you can only construct a unit or maybe make a construction on a given piece of land in case it is, for example, 6 feet or even 10 feet from the border, right? Maybe they're saying it could be, for example, 20 feet from where you have beacons and so forth. So you need to understand in case there are any zoning restrictions or even setbacks to any piece of land, be on the lookout for those, because zoning restrictions and setbacks are actually going to interfere with your plan. To give you an example, in case you purchase an 8th lot of land, for example, in Kenya, that's, for example, 50 by 100 lot of land in Kenya, and yet this piece of land has crazy setback conditions on it. You might not find it, for example, it won't be feasible for you, for example, to build your own home in this piece of land because it may end up being very tiny for your usage, or even it may end up interfering with the desired design which you have in mind for you to construct a house there. So be keen on any setbacks and zoning restrictions that are attached to any piece of land out there, right? This is a second and also important thing which you need to consider as you are looking to purchase any piece of land out there. And then the third consideration you need to have in mind is the term of purchase. Each and every purchase you make out there has terms attached to it. A purchase could allow you, for example, to pay that particular purchase in its entirety, right? Some other options out there could allow you, for example, to pay in installments and so forth. So, based on the kind of cash you have, the kind of money you have, for example, in savings, the kind of money, for example, you can access through leverage and so forth, you go for an option that works for you, because different sellers out there have different conditions. To give you an example, in case you could find, for example, someone saying, I'm selling a plot of land in Kenya at, for example, 2 million Kenya shillings. The requirement is that you need to purchase by depositing half the amount and then paying the remainder in 3 months. I think it will be quite dumb in case someone only have 1 million Kenya shillings for all the cash they have and also savings they have, and then they go ahead to purchase that particular piece of land. Yet the expected future inflows are, for example, trickling in at the rate of 50,000 per month. This is setting yourself up to a bad investment, because most likely you may end up losing your money. That's because you won't have that particular title transferred to you. Reason being, within 4 months, you won't be able to complete paying for that particular piece of land. And you're going to be setting yourself up to legal battles which you want to avoid in the first place. So ensure you are very keen with regards to what the terms of purchase are, and only go for those terms which you can fulfill, right? And then the fourth consideration when it comes to purchasing land is that you need to also do analysis of opportunity cost. And I just gave you an example at the start of this video. Someone, for example, taking 5 million to go and purchase a huge tract of land in a very, very remote place, where, by the way, just by guesstimating, development is going to take decades to catch up with that particular area, is quite not the most wise of moves to ever make, because they have other alternatives out there. For example, engaging in businesses out there, right? For example, purchasing more prime pieces of houses out there, for example, apartments out there, and then letting them out and so forth. So look at what the opportunity costs are. Do you have an opportunity, for example, opening different kind of business out there? Do you have an opportunity, for example, buying alternative pieces of land out there? Do you even have an opportunity, for example, putting that money in the stock market, putting that money, for example, in a different kind of market out there, and you being able to get a better return on investment compared to purchasing that particular piece of land? Look at the alternative investments out there, because this guys is going to actually assist you do the thinking with regards to how and also whether that particular piece of investment you want to make on that particular land is a wise move or not. And then lastly, you need to check the seller's credibility. Buying land in Kenya is quite a tricky situation. Yes, we have many legitimate sellers out there, but also we have a cluster of cons out there who are actually out there to fleece you of your hard-earned cash. So be on the lookout. Only purchase from credible sellers who have proved they have been selling, for example, through the property company for some time and have been selling legitimately. Also check the reviews out there. What are people saying about the process they went through? Because by you engaging with a legitimate seller, the process is going to be seamless, and most likely you won't have any challenges with ownership of that particular piece of land in future. I think these are the 5 key considerations someone needs to have in mind when deciding whether to purchase a piece of land or not. And by the way, in case you consider all this, you might just end up making a wise investment decision as opposed to making a bad investment decision when it comes to purchasing a piece of land. What do you think? Share with us your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let's continue engaging down there. Thanks a lot for watching. I look forward to share with you other awesome videos next time. Bye bye, and you all take care.